What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Recording. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I want to dedicate all three of today's videos to Colt. It is his birthday. So if you want to wish Colt a happy birthday, smash that like button on the video and leave a happy birthday message in the comment section down below. He will be reading every single one of them as he lays here in front of me, getting his beauty rest. Now, the whole situation with Jared, Holly, Heidi, and everybody around them seems to get more and more bizarre every single day. And this would mark a very rare situation where I go back to the well a third time on what appears to be just some personal drama. You might be asking, why are you covering ProJared? Well, he's a gamer. He is a large gaming YouTube channel with large sponsorships with companies like Magic the Gathering, for example, amongst others. He's worked with Normal Boots. He's worked with lots of people that I enjoy. Now, I'm going to be honest and say that I was never really into ProJared's content. I knew he was always kind of out on the periphery. So I'm not coming from a place of like being personally offended as a fan. I knew him as the guy that was promoting Magic Arena, and I knew him as a large gaming YouTube channel, but not really interested in me. That's not a personal shot. That's just letting you know where I'm at. Bringing everyone up to speed, essentially, him and his wife, Heidi O'Farrell, had an open marriage. Nobody cares. Okay, well, I mean, some people care, but I don't care, right? Whatever you choose to do between consenting people, you know, cool. Fine by me. None of my business. Where I took interest was was around the claims that he had asked for spicy photos from fans, in particular, someone who was 15 years old. And more details have come out around that. Jared's private apology has now been leaked online. Emails that show Normal Boots knew exactly what was going on with Jared have come online. And Holly, Jared's side lady, has come back online with a tirade of new information. So I'm going to try to keep it all straight for you and give you a decent timeline, because get your popcorn. This gets interesting. So back on the 18th, Jared had used the mental health defense by saying, and essentially, he admits that he asked for these photos from a 15-year-old. I apologize for making you uncomfortable. One of the individuals that you emailed chose to speak to me on the matter, and this is how I got into contact with you. They told me about this willingly with concern for all parties. And this is the 15-year-old that sent the email to his employers. I also wanted to apologize for my past behavior. I have not been healthy emotionally or mentally for a long time. And this is the cause of that. I'm not making excuses for anything, but you literally just did. I want to own up to my bad behavior. Well, then maybe you should say something publicly then rather than privately in a DM. I always did my best to be sure I was speaking with consenting adults. I feel certain I was up front only speaking with people who was over the age of 18. So he admits for requesting photos, and now he's trying to backpedal and say that, well, you always try to keep them over 18. And then he says, I've been getting a lot of therapy and attended a mental health retreat since then. Well, it sure must be nice to have piles and piles of money to go hide from your problems. So I'm doing things to better myself. I'm not looking to make excuses or justify things either, but that's exactly what you did. You said you were in a bad mental state, one of the most worn out excuses online. I'm not saying that it can't be true. It's just that nobody wants to hear that. I also want to make sure that you're okay and that I'm sorry. All right. Here's the apology I got from Jared. I firmly believe that Holly was the person who, quote, chose to speak to him on the matter. The apology is manipulative. He claims he struggles to remember the chats in any capacity, thus making it seem like I'm making it up. However, he still apologized for that behavior. Did he not remember it? This message kind of confirms Heidi's statement that Jared is manipulative. I also like to question why he thought it was okay to reach out to people alleging he had requested these photos from them while underage. Like what? You do not do that. Here's the initial email Charlie and I sent to Normal Boots, redacted as my name and email, the company, you know, and stuff like that. And so in the email, they did reply. We received your email dated April 4th, 2019, in which you alleged inappropriate online messages that you and another individual received from Jared, known to the public as ProJared. On behalf, this is definitely a lawyer thing. On behalf of Normal Boots LLC, I want to assure you the company takes this matter very seriously. We will be conducting an investigation. It's obviously a lawyer wrote that. But the email, although the apology seems genuine on the surface, I worry deeply for both myself and Charlie. We're not asking you to do anything specific. You know Jared better than we do. And while obviously we can't predict the type of relationship you have with him and we assume it's cordial, we're asking you to consider the facts that he exploited two underage fans. He groomed us into trusting him. He used us for his own purposes. He used the platform and notoriety to exploit people. So now it does sound like, again, as I've said since the very beginning of covering this, there's always more to the story. And maybe this, you know, Jared is still the one that did these things. And all the other noise going on between Holly and Normal Boots and this, you know, every other side lady, it's irrelevant. People need to remember that he has not answered for this. And I believe, now, yes, DMs can be faked. It is my opinion that these DMs seem authentic. And if they are authentic, that confirms that he, in fact, did make these requests of a 15-year-old. Okay? So, I mean, obviously, I'm not seeing any charges being brought or anything like that, which is interesting because, I mean, all the evidence is in the public space at this point. And then we see Mamology sharing some information. I'm done with the guy Heidi was dating. I'm done. The guy Heidi was dating while married is a fellow cosplayer named Jeremy. Not this Jeremy. While Jared was dating Holly, this is it. I'm out. All of you are a bunch of liars. Apparently, she has a thing for dating men and making them cosplay as sailors. There's Heidi, here's Holly, I'm sorry, Heidi right here, Jared's ex-girlfriend. Shout out to people like Kiwi Farms who helped. They helped during BetterHelp, and they helped here as well. And here's Heidi. This is so cute. Now, I'm not going to like kink shame or anything like that, right? That's cool if you're into that, but it's pretty obvious that she is into that. And I'm going to get to Heidi in a second, but Holly now returns from privatizing her Twitter to drop a very long statement, of which, of course, paints her as the victim and fragile in every possible way, as is always the case with people with blue check marks. Now, she goes, for the past year, I've been trying to help someone I care about leave a bad relationship. I'm telling my story with the receipts I can legally share with no hate and no vindictiveness. I need to bring the truth to light. These tweets are not meant to spread hate. Yes, they are, and they're also meant to give you attention. All three of these people are pathetic, in my opinion. I mean, geez, could you like not air everything out in the public? I have no sooner spoken out on May 9th, I checked myself into the hospital because I was having bad thoughts. I'm not ashamed of this at all. It was the right thing to do. I heard about Keemstar coverage while I was in the hospital and made this art and therapy. You have to be able to laugh at some aspects of a crisis. How will these people ever deal with real life? I'm just never going to know how these people are going to deal with actual like real life situations. Before going forward, I want to make clear I do not approve of any influencer exchanging these types of photos with fans. This behavior is an abuse of power and never okay. ProJared made poor decisions. That said, now here's where she's going to say it's okay. I have seen relevant receipts that prove ProJared confirmed the consent and ages of the individuals he interacted with. These accusations have legal ramifications for all involved. For that reason, no one can comment on them or share them publicly. Well, you could leak them. This makes it difficult to speak out, but know that I do not expect everyone to believe me. It's not justice to treat every accusation as a conviction. Oddly enough, people can lie on the internet. Oh, well. Holly getting kind of woke. If you are consenting people who swap these photos, yeah, I agree. By the way, like two adults that share this type of stuff together, I mean, I wouldn't do it, but good on you if you want. If you're a content creator or an influencer and you're doing this with fans, that's a little more questionable. You know, on February 7th, 2018, Jared took me on a walk despite having Heidi's full permission to do more. All we did was talk about our feelings. Jared and I were transparent about our discussion with both Heidi and all others involved. I don't know when ProJared started having feelings, but I didn't realize that he had them at all until then. It was like being pushed into ice water. I've talked about being asexual for years. I never expected to have feelings. It was terrifying. Ooh. Even though ProJared and I had a long-standing professional platonic relationship, Heidi never wanted us to speak again. She became extremely jealous and vindictive. Both Jared and I were scared of her. I don't know how these... I mean, it's so funny. Like, I need that, like, Mexican, I think, I don't know, telenovelas. Like, in the grand scheme of these, of everything, obviously we're just here to have a laugh at people completely overreacting to a breakup. That's what I see. The only thing I'm really interested in here is the fact that ProJared requested photos from somebody who allegedly was 15 years old. That needs to be looked into. That's why this continues to need to be covered, and that's what we need to remember after this video. Heidi was so angry, and I wanted Jared to reassure me that she had consent. He sent this screenshot. If it makes it easier for you, I will quietly go into the bedroom. You have my full permission to do anything you want. I am fine and will continue to be fine. Oh, God. As I've said before, if your wife says she's down for an open marriage, just do yourself a favor and pack your stuff. I tried to apologize multiple times. I tried gifts and words, but nothing was enough for her. I wasn't even sure what I was apologizing for. She continued to be enraged. I conveyed to her that I was happy just to be friends and professional colleagues with Jared. Her response was a fit of rage. Later on February 18th, she called me from Jared's number and howled that I want my husband to think of me, not you, during spicy, during your tender time. Dang, Heidi, come on. You are crazy. I originally backed you, but you're all in the dirt now. You're all rolling around in it. Even though Jared and I had not been physical at all, Heidi called me from Jared's phone. All she did was scream, "Go away." I hung up, feared, and texted Jared that he needed to leave this abusive relationship after experiencing her wrath. I turned my concern to Jared's safety. At that point, I knew communicating with her wouldn't work. So then she just shares all these tweets or all these personal text messages, which, again, when you're going to be having conversations with people like this, just assume they're going to share it because that's exactly what they do. I'll talk to her today. I don't want to keep seeing you suffer. Don't do anything drastic. This is obviously Holly. Like at this, or Heidi, I'm assuming like this point, I'm fantasizing about sabotaging the game. So bear in mind, I'm going crazy, Jared. Would be a bummer to destroy everything you've built, but it would be more of a bummer to destroy myself putting up with it. You know, she sounds like she's nuts. Man, I wish I could destroy Dice Camera Action. That would feel so good. And again, it's just an H. We don't know that it's her for sure. We don't know that it isn't photoshopped. Again, so not wanting their marriage and her control to end, Heidi constantly threatened Jared, saying that she would ruin him and publicly accuse him of being a cheater and an abuser if he went through with the divorce. I really, really need it. I don't know how to make that any more clear. I am desperate. This makes me dangerous. I'm ready to start ruining all of our lives. She's crazy. Now, I know some crazy things get said when breakups happen, but whoa. On May 7th, 2019, Heidi moved to her new home and made the following post on Facebook where she accused Jared of cheating and abusing her in front of mutual friends, family, and professional colleagues. She was the first one to make a public statement. I recently discovered Jared had been cheating on me for many months. He lied. Wow. I have not yet announced this publicly. Well, you are putting it on Facebook, so of course it's going to get out there. I'm going to guess, I'm going to say that, on Facebook, Heidi called what she did a public ending of Jared. She was incredibly hard, which was incredibly hard for me to experience. Seeing the internet rally around Jared's to mercilessly harass us both, no evidence. To one of my super relevant Ghost of Christmas Past ex-boyfriends, watched me publicly end Jared and still thought he had an opening to send me a lame, poetic, heartfelt message like we were going to have nostalgic reconnection when we dated when we were 17. My private response to the opening message was, dang, I remember this guy cheating on me too. Well, maybe the problem is you if all your boyfriends end up stepping out on you. I don't know. Meanwhile, Heidi gloated on Facebook, bragging that she'd seen and retweeted by Perez Hilton. Who? What is it, 2001? Joking that ProJared was more famous now than ever because of her accusations, and drinking white Zinfandel. Adding insult to injury, she tried to take his gold play button. Well, I think he probably has to give that back to YouTube now because he's less than 1 million. Kind of suspect now, and then you see Perez Hilton retweeted me. Nobody cares. This girl looks really bad now. Now they're all pretty sad to me. Heidi, of course, has to respond, sharing her text messages. This was the aftermath of that night when I tried to be supportive and they ignored me for hours. I went to bed sobbing, thinking Jarek was hooking up with her without ever acknowledging me. Hey, Heidi, I'm so sorry for all the lost sleep and upsetting stuff that happened this weekend. I want to apologize in any way I can for any badness I brought to you. I get scared that you hate me because you're so nice and pretty. What? What? I know Jared has told you everything, so you know how messed up I am, LOL. Also, I'm also sorry I didn't say bye, and I hope we can talk more. Hey, Holly, I didn't know if Jared told you, but probably, this is just so weird. This is so weird. These people are insane. They all deserve each other. They're scrambling to make it look like they had my permission to be together or that I was somehow a hypocrite during the same time. No, I was straightforward with my expectations. I gave Jared the same respect. I honored him above all others. I got scared that you hate me because you're so nice and pretty. Comment. Has haunted me since Conrad sent it to me. Oh, Holly sent it to her. I'm not responsible for the insecurity she projects onto me. Being nice or pretty doesn't make someone hateful. I've been coping with humor on my private Facebook, and now that's being used against me too. At the end of the day, none of this matters. They all seem like horrible people who need Jesus. That's about what I can say about these folks. But never forget that ProJared still has been accused of asking for spicy photos from a 15-year-old male fan. And that, above all, should be the narrative, not bitches be crazy. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.